Welcome into Duval Daily, presented by GenJag.com. I'm Jordan DeLugo. Thanks so much for tuning in here on Thursday, July 27th. Day 2 of Jaguars training camp has come and gone. Another fun day out there, another day with lots of fans in the stands, fans lining up outside of the gates before practice was open. Really cool just to be around that energy between the fans and the team, something the Jaguars have not had. So I love that. But getting into what we saw out there on the field today, I saw Brandon McManus casually making 60 and 65-yard kicks in warm-ups. If you want to see those, you can go check out the shorts feed on this channel, and you'll be able to see those. I also have them on Twitter. You can follow me there at Jordan DeLugo. If you enjoy the content here on this channel, please subscribe. That's the easiest way to support us. You can also like this video, turn on the notification bell, leave a comment in the comment section below. The algorithm loves that. You can also check out genjag.com/shop, pick up some new Duval gear. Really appreciate y'all. But again, 60 and 65-yard kicks and warm-ups from Brandon McManus, which comes as no surprise. This is a guy who has attempted and made a ton of deep kicks in his career for the Denver Broncos, now Jacksonville Jaguar for the first time this year. And he's the type of kicker that the Jaguars really haven't had in a while, right? Josh Lambo was very accurate in his prime for the Jaguars, but he was never a real deep ball kicker. He would make a deep kick here and there for you, but his leg power was not his greatest trait. His accuracy was during his height. Brandon McManus is very accurate inside of 50 yards, but also has that leg to extend beyond and make some deep kicks for you. So I think that gives you some more versatility with how you use your kicking game. Did see him miss a 70-yarder for full transparency there in warm-ups, but you're not going to see a lot of guys make a lot of 70-yarders consistently, right? In the live period for special teams, Brandon McManus was 5 of 5 on his field goal attempts. So you like to see that once the bullets are actually flying, he's making those kicks. And that should come as no surprise. He's a veteran. He's a guy who has a huge leg, a very accurate leg as well. I think he was a huge upgrade for the Jaguars this offseason. I know we talked about Parker Washington yesterday quite a bit, but today was even more impressive. He made a bunch of plays for the Jaguars offense in the team portion of drills. He had the most catches in team portion of this practice by far, by a wide margin. He was consistently targeted. First team, second team, third team, it didn't matter. He was making plays and getting the ball in a variety of ways. I think Parker Washington, maybe not from the jump, but at some point during his rookie season, he's going to start making some plays on the offensive side of the ball. And I think he's going to be a guy, like I said yesterday, that's going to stick around in Jacksonville for a long time. A definite steal in the draft. Middle of day 3 for the Jaguars there for Parker Washington out of Penn State. And his Penn State teammate, another Jaguars draft pick in 2023, Brenton Strange, he continues to impress me. He does not let the football hit the ground. He has really strong hands. You saw that at Penn State. Was not a focal point of their passing attack for most of his time there. But when he was targeted, he was able to come down with pretty much everything that was catchable at Penn State, and you're seeing that again in Jacksonville. I think his route running looks pretty crisp. I know a lot of people talk about him as not a great athlete, and he's not really an elite athlete at the tight end position, but he is a very good athlete overall at the tight end position when you look at his athletic metrics and watch him out there on the field. So I'm impressed by him. I think you're going to see him and Evan Ingram on the field together in 2023. I think you're going to see some 12 personnel. I think that should be exciting. The different ways you can use those guys on your offense, both in the passing game and in the running game. I think you can do a lot of different things. Jamal Agnew, not somebody I talked a ton about yesterday. He looks great. One thing I'm just really excited for him this year. Last year he was coming off that major injury that held him out for a bunch of games at the end of the season, required surgery, all that stuff. He was recovering from that getting into training camp and the beginning of the year. And I think you could see a little bit of that rust shaking off early on for Jamal Agnew last year. This year, fully healthy. He's not working his way back. He is ready to go in 2023. And so I think you'll see the full gambit of what Jamal Agnew can do for you from the jump this year. And I think that's going to help the Jaguars out a lot when it comes to field position. Obviously on the kick returns, when it comes to just being able to be an impact for the offense as well. I think Jamal Agnew is going to have a really good year for the Jacksonville Jaguars. As I mentioned, Evan Ingram and Brenton Strange on the field together a little bit today. I think that's going to be fun for this offense. Saw Trevor handing it off to Tank Bigsby quite a bit. Little short pass to Jermichael Hasty as well. So you're seeing those guys getting some reps with Trevor and first team presumably. And obviously Travis Etienne getting a ton of reps as well. It was a really heavy workload today though for Tank Bigsby, regardless of which team was on the field. He was just getting a lot of run, whether it be in the passing game, whether it be taking handoffs. Tank Bigsby got a lot of work in, and he just looks like he's built different. I've been a big fan of this guy for a while. I think he's going to be able to pretty quickly lock down the number 2 spot on the Jaguars depth chart at running back. Not for lack of competition. Jermichael Hasty is a very good back in his own right, and so is Dearness Johnson. This is a guy that busted off a couple nice runs, nice long runs. Dearness Johnson did in practice today, and you saw that during his time in Cleveland. He is an efficient running back, a really good running back. His athletic numbers might not wow you, but Dearness Johnson is a guy that is obviously, in my opinion, going to make this football team and make the Jaguars running back room that much deeper and that much better because he can do a lot for you. Gregory Jr. looked like PI to me, lined up, in the slot, but it was not called, and they gave him the PBU in practice. I guess you can say it was a nice play. To me, I think in a game situation, that play is definitely going to be called pass interference, but kudos to him for getting the PBU in practice. You saw Christian Braswell out there lining up a lot on the outside. I thought he looked very fluid. He's a really good athlete, so that's not a big surprise. You saw him on a blitz getting in there, and I might not be allowed to say that, but I just did, so it is what it is. Luke Farrell had a very nice day. He's just a very solid player. He catches everything thrown his way, and I think he's a guy that the Jaguars really like. They've talked about really liking him. He's really more that Y tight end, the inline tight end, but I think he can have a little bit of an impact for you as a sneaky pass-catching target as well. Garrett Prince, more of the F-type tight end. He made several plays today. Really athletic guy. Eric Hallett, he's been lining up. Looks like kind of hybrid on the back end between maybe some free safety and some nickel. He did get run over by Sammy Reyes one time. Kind of a welcome to the NFL moment there for Eric Hallett, who's just... they are not in the same weight class, clearly. Reyes is just a monster out there. When he gets rolling with a head of steam, a guy like Eric Hallett, not going to be easy for him to bring down Reyes. But, yeah, definitely a welcome to the NFL moment for him there. Kevin Austin, he had a drop in 7-on-7, but then he was able to come back and make multiple plays, multiple nice grabs right after that. So the drop thing for Kevin Austin, unfortunately, I don't think it's necessarily going away. But for him to be able to rebound and respond right after that, I think was encouraging. Buster Brown, he looks better, in my opinion, and I don't think he looked really outmatched last year in training camp, but at times when he had to play during the regular season, he certainly did. But you saw him make a nice break on the ball, near pick of C.J. Beathard in this practice, so you love to see that. Elijah Cooks is a guy I've talked about a lot, and he did not disappoint today. I think it was his only big target in team drills, but a catch deep down the field on the sideline, which is what you saw him do a ton at San Jose State last year. He had to make sure that he could get his feet in bounds, come down with the football. He was able to do all that. He's a big receiver, a guy that really kind of specializes on the go ball, the 9 route, and he was able to show that in this practice. And he's a guy that if you're talking about, back into the roster, maybe taking out a Tim Jones or someone else on the very back end of the roster, Elijah Cooks could be the guy that pushes folks, right? Because he has a different level of size and catch radius than the Jaguars, the rest of their receivers right now, point blank. Now, am I predicting that he's going to overtake Tim Jones on the roster? No, I'm not. Because I think Tim Jones brings a lot to the team, both as a receiver, as a blocker, as a special teams player. But Elijah Cooks is really good. I think maybe stash him on the practice squad if you can. We'll see how it plays out. I think he's a good player that can make plays in this league with his size and athleticism and skill set. Kendrick Pryor had a nice deep grab down the field. This is a guy that for the Cincinnati Bengals in 2022 preseason, I think he led the league in receiving yards for them. So a guy that obviously has some experience in the preseason making some plays. He had a nice grab down the field today. Good to see that from him. I saw Walker Little kind of teaching up Anton Harrison on the sideline. I really like to see them working together, trying to grow together, because they're going to probably end up starting at left and right tackle, Little at left tackle, Harrison at right tackle to start the 2023 season. And I think you'll see Little probably kick inside to guard and compete to play there once Cam Robinson comes back. And then talking about the star of the show, Trevor Lawrence, Calvin Ridley, these guys, it was not the sharpest day from the offense, from the first team offense. Trevor Lawrence went 7 of 14 by my count. Now, you did have a couple drops. Evan Ingram dropped an easy one. Calvin Ridley also dropped a shallow one over the middle. So you don't love to see that in practice, but it is practice, right? And you're not going to freak out over a day where you're just not quite as sharp as usual. I think you did see Trevor kind of attempt a deep one where he decided to throw a little off balance, kind of get that fadeaway type of throw going, where he didn't necessarily have to do that, but you're just trying to see what you can do in practice sometimes. I think that's what you saw from Trevor on that play, but did have a really nice throw to Travis Etienne down the sideline on the wheel route. That was a thing of beauty. Might have gone for a touchdown. I think you saw him get back going with Calvin Ridley later in practice a little bit. Evan Ingram made some nice grabs after the drop early. Jamal Agnew had a couple catches. Missed a deep shot to Zay Jones, but it was really close. I think it was just outside of where you would have called it a perfect throw. Zay Jones was just not quite able to get both toes down in bounds. You heard the fans behind not very happy with the call on the field of incomplete, of out of bounds. But to me, from my vantage point, it definitely looked like he wasn't able to get both feet down. But, look, second day of practice, you're not going to freak out about having a day where you're not completely perfect on the offensive side of the ball. Really appreciate y'all tuning in. Hit me up on Twitter at Jordan DeLugo. Follow Generation Jaguar at Generation Jag. Please hit that like and subscribe button on YouTube, notification bell so you don't miss a show on here, and check out genjag.com/shop. Pick up some new Duval gear. Y'all have a good one.